Hi, today's verbing class is on organ systems. This is part of a series of classes, advanced level classes that I've been teaching about internal organ systems in the human body. I've taught a bunch of different science classes, and this one is one of sort of my biology-focused classes. I've been focusing in the past on a different organ system each week. Let's see, we talked about the digestive system, we've talked about the cardiovascular system, and we've talked about the immune system. This week, instead of picking a specific organ system, I decided that we're just going to talk about all of the organ systems in general in the body and how the organ systems work together to make us a big vocabulary explosion today. I'm going to throw a lot of vocabulary at you so that you can be familiar with the different organ systems of the body. And it's pretty scientific vocabulary, so you're not exactly going to be seeing this stuff in your everyday reading. But the reason I teach these classes to my advanced students is because I believe it's really important to study science as an English learner because you can express abstract topics. When you can discuss something that's a little bit different, that's a little bit confusing, it really helps your critical thinking skills in learning to express interesting stuff in English. And that's really what will take your English towards the level of a native speaker. And it's also one of the things that's the hardest. Even when you know a lot of English, sometimes when you really need to talk about advanced topics, it can be a little more difficult. So that's why I teach these science classes, and that's why in a lot of my classes I add in just that advanced vocabulary and the advanced discussion content. So we'll be looking at some pictures today, we'll be looking at some simple just vocabulary words, and then we'll be taking a quiz on the different organ systems and what they do. And so hopefully it'll be pretty interactive and, again, a lot of vocabulary. So I'm excited to talk about this today, and I think everyone will learn something because it's a lot of new content. So for now, I'd like to do introductions as usual. I know some of you and some of you I don't know, so I'd love to have you introduce yourselves to the class. And I would like you to tell me your name, what country you're in, and I'd like you to tell me your favorite place that you've traveled to. I'd like you to tell me your favorite place that you have gone on vacation, or maybe it's right near your house but you like to go there. So your favorite place that you've been to recently. And so my name's Libby. I'm a teacher here at Verbling, and I live in France now, and so during the day I also teach English as a second language to French students in a high school. And my favorite place that I've been is Berlin, Germany. I lived in Berlin, Germany for 6 months, and it's my favorite place in the world because I really love the culture there. It's a very young culture and just very energetic and very interesting. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of parks and natural beauty, and it's a really energetic city. So yeah, I'm Libby, I'm in France, and my favorite place is Berlin. So now I would like to hear from you before we get into the lesson. So let's see, the first person is, I'm not sure of your first name, it just says C. Siriporn.
Okay, you can call me Mook. I come from Thailand.
Okay.
I like to travel to see.
Could you say the last part one more time?
Oh, again, please.
Okay, so you're from Thailand and what?
Yes, I
And
come from Thailand.
And what is your favorite place that you have traveled?
I like to travel to sea.
Oh, to the sea. Okay, that's the part I didn't hear. All right, great. That must be very nice. I bet it's very beautiful. All right, thank you. And next we will have Denny.
Hi, I'm from Quebec. I have not traveled enough yet, but I like Mexico.
Very nice. And where in Mexico have you been?
Well, it was for vacation. Riviera Maya.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes.
I love vacationing in warm places. It's always nice to go
yes.
somewhere warm.
Oh yes, it's very cold here.
Yes, yeah, I know. I used to go skiing in Quebec at Mont Sainte Anne.
Yes,
it's very, very, very cold there.
Yes, it has its advantage. You can go ski, but it's good to go to the warm place.
Yes, definitely. Okay, great. And then Ahmad, you're next. Are you here, Ahmad?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
Yeah. I'm Imad. I'm from Syria. Right now I'm living in Egypt. And I have never been in any place more favorite for me or lovely for me more than my home place, my home city, Aleppo.
And so your home city in Syria?
Yeah.
Nice. And what is the weather like there in your home city?
We have four seasons. We have spring, we have everything. So the weather is very near to the Median Sea. So it's really good there. Climate is very clean. The environment is very clean, and it's very nice.
Great. Thank you. And then next we have Hadi.
Yes, here.
Could you tell us your name, your country, and your favorite place you have traveled to?
Okay. My name is Hadi. I'm from Saudi Arabia. Actually, didn't travel a lot. I just went to Syria and Dubai. I like both of these countries. I like about Syria the nature and the weather there. What I like about Dubai is developed country and a lot of place where I can have fun there.
Yeah, there's a lot of entertainment, I guess, a lot of stuff to do. Cool, thank you. And next is Huen.
Hello, my name is Yun. I'm from Vietnam, and the city that I like the most is a city in the central part of Vietnam. It's very nice. It's a coastal city, and people, even though it's a city, but people live in a very slow pace. And if you go down or like go to the south or go to the north, you get to see a lot of how can I say, historical monuments, or like houses from 300 years ago. And yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool. Gosh, I've traveled a lot in the U.S., in North America, and in Europe, but I've never been to the Middle East, and I've never been to Asia at all. And it's so interesting because on Verbling I have so many students from Asia, and it makes me want to go there a lot. You know, it's very different culturally, but it sounds just so beautiful in a very different way from Europe. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice to hear.
Also, Saudi Arabia is a nice city, and I invite you to visit it too.
Oh, yeah. It's just it would be really cool. I really hope to be able to travel to places like that someday. Got to save up some money first, and then maybe I'll make it out there. Okay, next we have Igor.
Yes, I'm Igor. I'm from Republic of Moldova, and the favorite place where I was is Bucharest, Romania. Capital of Romania, Bucharest.
Yeah,
Bucharest in English.
Yeah, I've never been to Bucharest, but I have this map of Europe on my door of the bathroom, and I always look, and think about where I want to go, and I always see Bucharest, and I'm like, I need to go there. I gotta go there soon.
Yes, you have to go there.
Go to Malta.
All right, good. Malta. I'll put that. I see that too on the map, so I'll have to add that to the list too. All right, cool. And why do you like Bucharest?
Because I never been there, and it was for me very interesting to see how is in Bucharest, because we are countries are neighbors, and we people the same language we speak, and it was for me very interesting to see how is there in Bucharest.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of similarities, but also some interesting differences in the culture.
No, we are the same. We speak Romanian. We like the same nation. Our country was
even culturally, like people like the same things and they eat the same things and.
Yes, many years
okay.
ago,
That's
Romania, Moldova was a part of Romania. Many years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Thanks. And next is, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it just John?
Yes, you can pronounce it like John in English, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, my name is John. I'm from Barcelona, Spain. And, well, my favorite place I've been is Zanzibar in Africa. Well, I don't know. Africa has something special. It's very different from Europe. The people, the culture, the villages. It's like another world.
Yeah, I bet that was really cool. Cool, Zanzibar. That's a good answer. I like that. All right, and next we have Josefa.
Josefa, hi. I am Josefa. I am from Barcelona too, and the most favorite place that I have been in my life is Egypt. Is of course Le Cajera, Abu Simbel, but the most beautiful place is Nile River for me, and the second one is Vietnam.
Oh wow, cool. Oh, you guys have been some really interesting places. It's really cool to hear about the places you've been.
Yes.
All right, thanks. And then last we have Manuel.
Hello everybody. My name is Manuel. I live in Spain, more exactly in Canary Island. My favorite place, I have to say before, first of all, that I have not traveled a lot. But my favorite place is Galicia. Galicia is an area of Spain. It's located in the northwest coast of Spain. The landscape there is very green. You have a forest for everywhere you look. You have a lot of trees, forests, etc. And there are little beautiful beach too, but you will have a problem if you wanna take a bath because the water is very cold.
Yeah.
But even in summer, the water is very cold. But the beach are very beautiful. The food is very good too, and cheap. You have there a lot of monuments, many things you will see there if you go there.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. All right, great answers, everyone. It's very interesting to hear from all of you. So now that we're all introduced, we can get into the lesson. Again, this is an advanced lesson on organ systems, and every week I've been doing a different organ system, but this week I thought we could just talk about all of the organ systems in general and how they all sort of work together and what each one of them does. And then we'll take a little quiz about organ systems. So first, I'm going to show you an image because I think this image helps explain the organ systems pretty well. Then I'm also going to share the image on the screen. So there you have the link, and the image looks like this. I'm going to try to make it more visible, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, that looks, you can sort of read that. It's a little blurry, but so here's a diagram that talks about the different human body systems, or the organ systems, and the job of each one of the organ systems. So let's just go over each one of these, and we'll test our knowledge about this stuff first. So the first system that is here on this diagram is the nervous system. Can someone read in this little box? Can someone read what the nervous system's job is? Can someone read this little yellow box for the class?
I can read.
Go ahead, Wen.
Nervous system, responding to changes in the internal and external environment.
Good, okay. So responding to changes in the internal and external environment. In your own words, what does that mean, responding to changes? What does the nervous system really do?
If you pinch your skin, you will sense pain, and if you, well, internal is like your organs need a nerve.
Yeah, sorry, I was fixing something. That's exactly right. So the nervous system figures out what's happening, and it makes changes to your body accordingly. So if you are cold, your nervous system, your nerves will tell your brain, hey, it's cold out, and maybe then you'll shiver, and you'll shiver because it's cold, and that's your nervous system helping your body respond to changes in your external environment. Yeah, and then your internal environment, that refers to your organs and what's happening in your body. So if you eat food, your nervous system, your nerves might tell your brain, hey, there's food in here, so digest the food. So the nervous system is sort of the executive power of your body. The nervous system, especially the brain, sort of directs everything in your body. Your brain and your spinal cord and the associated nerves are what make up your nervous system. All right. The next system we have here in this diagram is the musculoskeletal system, or the muscular skeletal system. And the job of that is support and movement. What's in your musculoskeletal system? What kinds of organs, what kinds of things are in that system?
The bicep.
Muscles and bones.
Good, muscles and bones. So yeah, muscles and bones. And
cartilage also.
Yes.
Cartilage, yeah.
Yeah, cartilage also. And what is the difference between cartilage and bone?
Actually,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. You can tell. Okay.
Okay, the cartilage is a kind of tissue that is very tough and connect the muscles to the bones. So it fixes everything in its place. Maybe the joint also held together by the cartilage.
Good. Okay. So when we see a typical skeleton, when we see a skeleton with all the bones, does that skeleton include cartilage? Is there cartilage in a skeleton?
I think if you look at the bone only, It will be, you can't find this cartridge, right? Cartridge, I think no cartridge will be found.
Good, excellent. That's right. That's right. So cartilage is different from bone, and so that's the reason that if we just see a skeleton of bones, we don't see the cartilage. Here's a related question. When you see a skeleton, why does the skeleton not have a nose? Why do skeletons not have noses?
Cartilage.
Cartilage, right? Your nose is made of cartilage. And so because your nose is made of cartilage, it degrades. It's tissue that degrades. And so when only the bones are left, there's no nose because your nose is made of cartilage, which is more flexible and also doesn't stick around as long as bone.
Yes.
Good. And so
I have 1 point too.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
I want to make a comment. The musculoskeletal system, you miss 1 point, which is tendon. You don't talk about tendon, which
sure,
is
we
a part.
can we can talk about tendons.
Yeah, it's a part of the tissue connect bones with muscle together.
Good. So as I previously typed in the Verbling chat, we have connective tissue. So it's bones, muscles, and connective tissue. And ligaments and tendons are part of that connective tissue. And the connective tissue helps connect bones to each other and also connect bones to muscles. And of course, that is all very important because the bones and muscles all need to be connected so that we can move properly.
Yes.
Let's see. Within the muscular system, there are, I think, 3 types of muscle. I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Does anyone remember the types of muscle?
Yes, me. I remember the type of muscle.
Go ahead.
Striated muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle.
Yeah, striated, smooth, and cardiac muscle. So we have 3 different types of muscle in our bodies. Each type of muscle fulfills a different function. Can anyone guess where cardiac muscle is found? Where is cardiac muscle found?
In the heart.
In the heart.
Good. Yeah, cardiac muscle is found in the heart. And cardiac muscle is special because if you give it electricity, if you give it an electrical impulse, it contracts. And so the heart actually beats like this. The heart contracts because of electrical impulses. And so cardiac muscle is special because it responds to electrical impulses, and that's what allows your heart to beat. So that's pretty cool.
I have a point here. Every muscle contract. I have a point about the classification of the muscle. It's classified into 3 types according its microscopic structure, because every muscle will contract once it receives an impulse.
Well, yeah, that's certainly true. I mean, muscle contracts when it receives an impulse, but cardiac muscle is different from the other types of muscle because, I mean, it's hard to explain, but basically, like, it can continue to contract in the absence. It contracts continually, like, without the impulse also, I think. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. So anyway, we have those 3 types of... So we have those 3 types of muscles, and you're right, they're classified according to their cellular structure. And those muscle types look different when we look at them under a microscope. And so you can look up more about that later if you want. I'm not going to go into the details of muscle stuff today, but for now we'll move on to the respiratory system. Let's go back to this diagram here. Let's see, respiratory system, it says, in with the good, out with the bad, and it operates via double diffusion. So that's kind of a strange description. In general, what does the respiratory system do?
Ventilation. Yeah. Ventilation.
Yeah. Respiration means breathing. So your respiratory system helps you breathe. And the reason it says in with the good, out with the bad is because we breathe in oxygen, which we need. And then what do we breathe out?
CO2.
CO2.
Carbon dioxide.
Good. We breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. And so breathing helps us exchange carbon dioxide for oxygen. And we breathe into our lungs, and then that oxygen is diffused into our blood. And our blood carries the oxygen around our body. And why do we need oxygen? What do we use oxygen for?
Because the muscle need oxygen to work.
Perfect. Our muscles need oxygen to work. And so our blood provides our muscles with oxygen so that we can move, which is very important. Okay, the next system is the reproductive system. And the description that this picture gives is making pretty good copies. Your reproductive system helps you reproduce, not copies of yourself, but children who may or may not resemble you.
Yeah.
And that is the job of the reproductive system. Obviously, the female and male reproductive systems are different, but these reproductive systems work together to create offspring. And so that's a pretty important organ system. Let's see. What is the name of the part of the female reproductive system that carries a baby? When you're pregnant, what part of you is a baby in?
Uterus.
Good. The uterus is where the fetus, a fetus is what we call a baby before it's born. So the fetus develops in the uterus. And how is a fetus created? What fertilizes what?
Sperm fertilize the ovum.
Sperm.
Good. The sperm fertilizes the ovum or the egg. The sperm fertilizes the egg, and that's how we get a zygote, which then develops into a baby, into a fetus. And so then that fetus develops in the uterus, and then the woman gives birth. So cool. Let's see. Let's move on to the next one. The excretory system is in charge of getting rid of waste products. When you go to the bathroom, you are using your excretory system. And I think the kidneys are also qualified as being part of the excretory system. What do the kidneys do? What is the job of your kidneys?
To remove the alcohol.
Filtration of the blood.
Good. Filtration. Kidneys fulfill a filtration function. So they help you get rid of bad stuff and keep good stuff in your blood. Kidneys are a really fascinating organ. They teach like whole courses on the kidneys because the way they use osmosis and diffusion gradients is pretty incredible. They're a really, really amazing organ. And so the kidneys fulfill a very important function in our body. Let's talk about something really quickly. What's the difference between osmosis and diffusion? Anyone know this one? Osmosis versus diffusion.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Hadi.
Osmosis mean movement of the fluid according to solid concentration, but diffusion is passive movement. Osmosis is active. I think this is the difference.
No.
That's close. So actually, both of these are passive processes. Both of these are passive because they do not require energy.
But the differences between the osmosis and vasovagal diffusion. Vasovagal diffusion, movement of the solute from high concentration to low concentration. But when we are going to describe the osmosis, the movement of water from low concentration of water to high concentration of water through the permeable membrane.
Good, excellent. So
yes, exactly.
Osmosis is the movement of water, and diffusion is the movement of solutes. Solutes are little solid things that are dissolved in the water. In that case, we can say water is a solvent, and the solids that are in it are solutes. And so osmosis is movement of water, and diffusion is the movement of solutes.
Yes.
And so those happen across membranes, and the membrane acts as a barrier, and the water and the solutes can sometimes cross the membrane via osmosis or diffusion. And like we said, those are passive processes. And so the kidney uses these passive processes to make sure that we pee out everything we don't want, and we keep everything that we need. And so the kidney, I think, involves passive and, what's the opposite of passive transport? Does anyone know? What's transport that requires energy?
Active transport.
Good. So passive transport is when things just move, down their concentration gradient naturally.
Like potassium, calcium pump. It's like that.
Yes. So, the sodium-potassium pump is an example of active transport.
Yes.
It's something that uses energy to move something somewhere else. So active transport uses ATP, that's the body's energy molecule, and it uses ATP to move stuff. But passive transport just uses what we call a concentration gradient to move stuff. That means that things want to have space. So if I have a container and half of it is just water and half of it is water with salt in it, and I have a membrane in the middle that the salt can pass through, theoretically, the salt is going to want to go into the area of less concentration. The salt is like all crowded in the water, and it wants to leave. It wants to have its own space and be spread out. And so that's why we want things travel to places of lower concentration so that they can have more space and they can exist in a lower concentration. So passive transport involves a concentration gradient, and active transport uses energy to move things. So those are the two different ways we can move stuff across membranes. That was a bit of a tangent, but does anyone have any questions about that?
What is the differences between facilitated diffusion and active transport? Facilitated diffusion.
Good question. Facilitated diffusion. That is not active because, okay, so I believe, if I remember correctly, facilitated diffusion is when something is going down its concentration gradient,
yes,
but it needs to travel in the presence of something else. So an example of this is our body absorbs glucose. I think our body absorbs glucose and sodium at the same time. And so I think that's right. Let's pretend that's what it is. And so the glucose, it's still going down its concentration gradient, but it needs to be with the sodium to go there. Otherwise, the membrane won't let it through. It's almost like the molecule needs a chaperone to go through. And so facilitated diffusion doesn't require energy, but it does require two substances to go through together so that they can pass through a membrane. And I'll look up the details, but I think that's the difference. And I'll get back to you if I'm wrong on that. All right, so let's move on to the next organ system. Let's go back to this diagram here, and I'll repost the link. There we go. The next organ system is the endocrine system. Endocrine system keeps everything on track via feedback mechanisms. So can someone give me an example of something that's part of the endocrine system?
You want a hormone or organs?
Pancreas.
Good. Okay, the pancreas, yes.
It's both endocrine and exocrine gland.
Excellent. And what is the difference between endocrine and exocrine?
I will tell you the difference.
All right, go ahead. What is it?
Endocrine gland which secrete the hormones into the blood, while the exocrine secrete the hormones into the gut, like GIT, or yeah, this is the difference.
Okay, so endocrine means it's secreted into the blood, and exocrine means it's secreted into what? What is an exocrine gland then? An endocrine secretes it into the blood, and exocrine does what?
It secrete it into like GIT or
Right. Okay. So into specific locations, basically. Exocrine glands send their stuff somewhere specific, whereas endocrine glands just secrete stuff into the bloodstream, and it just circulates and does whatever it's supposed to do. Does everyone know this word, secrete? Does everyone know what secrete means?
Yes.
Yeah?
Like release?
Yeah, secrete and release is the same thing. Same thing. So we say that glands secrete hormones, or they release hormones into the blood. Hormones or neurotransmitters. All right, cool. So yeah, the endocrine system involves a lot of that hormone stuff that keeps our body going and keeps our body working. And it operates via feedback mechanisms. So that means if there's too much of something, we make less of something. If there's not enough of something, we make more of something. These are feedback mechanisms. All right, let's move on to the next one, the circulatory system. This is one of the ones we've talked about in a previous verbling class. Here it says the circulatory system is responsible for feeding the body and keeping things flowing to and from cells. What organs are part of your circulatory system?
Veins.
Good. Your veins.
Heart.
Heart.
Heart, veins. Good. Arteries.
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 Perfect. So does anyone remember from our previous class which vessels take blood away from the heart?
Artery.
Good. Arteries take blood away from the heart.
Away.
And which ones take blood back towards the heart?
Veins.
Good. Veins take blood back toward the heart. Arteries and veins.
Artery are more thicker than vein.
Yes. Good. Arteries are thicker than veins. And why is that?
To
pressure. High pressure in the artery.
Yes.
Good. Right. We need to create higher pressure in the arteries. So the arteries are thicker than the veins, so that we can keep our blood pumping and make sure it keeps moving through our body. So the heart is responsible for pumping blood, and then the veins and the arteries carry it around your body. All right, the digestive system is the next one. Digestive system is responsible for breaking down big things into small things. It often employs diffusion, and it uses enzymes. What are enzymes?
Enzymes is a type of protein that is responsible.
It often employs diffusion, and it uses enzymes. What are enzymes? Sorry, could you say that one more time? I had a problem with my sound.
Enzymes is a type of protein that is responsible.
It often employs diffusion, and it uses enzymes. What are enzymes? All right. Sorry, we're getting some echo. Make sure to close your verbling windows in case they're open, because I think there was just something that happened strange with the interface. All right, good. Yeah, so enzymes are biological catalysts. They're often made of protein that the body uses, and the digestive system uses a lot of enzymes to help to digest stuff. Yes, as Alma says in the chat. Enzymes help us break down stuff, break down food into nutrients. And so our digestive system helps us break down things into small things that we need. All right, last one is the immune system, protection from invaders. Can someone give me an example of something that is part of the immune system?
White blood cell.
Good, okay. White blood cells, those often will eat foreign cells.
Neutrophil, basophil, lymphocytes.
Good, excellent. So all that stuff, which we talked about a time, or maybe, I don't even remember if we got to that last class, but the immune system is a delightfully complex, crazy system that helps us defend our body from viruses, bacteria, and other stuff that try to make us sick. So those are the major human organ systems. We're going to take a quiz now to practice our knowledge of organ systems. So before we do the quiz, does anyone have any questions on material that we've covered so far? Any questions?
One question.
Yeah.
I have a question.
A part of what do you call it? Secretory or excretory system?
Excretory
system. Yes. I'm talking about the sweat glands, or no, glands.
So are you asking, are the sweat glands part of the excretory system?
Yes.
Good question. I believe so. I haven't looked it up, but I can look it up quickly. Because sweat is also a way for us to excrete or get rid of things that we don't want. So yeah,
Yes,
it looks like
system.
okay. Yeah. So the sweat glands are part of the excretory system. Good question.
Like kidneys, like respiratory system, also exertory system can be defined.
Yeah. Excellent. Good. Any more questions?
No.
All right. Everything's clear. All the organ systems. In that case, we'll take this quiz together. I'll give you the link for the quiz, but as always, we're going to do it on screen together as well. So you can follow along on the screen, or you can follow along on here. There's a link on the page I sent you where it says Start the Quiz. And once you click Start the Quiz, it sends you to the second page that I just posted. So that's the beginning of this quiz. And so we'll be doing the quiz together. You can either say your answer out loud, or you can type it into the Verbling classes, whatever you want. And we'll do the quiz as a class. This is just a general quiz on organ systems. And so it has information about all of the different organ systems. So let's get started with the quiz here. Number 1 says, the lungs, nose, and trachea are part of which organ system?
Respiratory.
Respiratory.
Good. Respiratory system. They're part of the respiratory system. Choice B. Excellent. They all help us breathe, so they're all part of the respiratory system. Next question. The kidneys and the urethra are part of which organ system?
It's a urinary system.
Urinary system.
Good. Yeah. So the urinary system is obviously part of our excretory system. It's part of what helps us excrete things that we don't want. So they're part of the urinary system. All right, next one. We didn't really talk about this system in our diagram, but let's see if you guys can figure it out. Which of the following are not part of the integumentary system?
Teeth.
Oh, teeth.
Teeth.
All right, good. Yeah, that's what I would say. Teeth. What is the integumentary system? What does the integumentary system do?
It has to do with your skin.
Protection.
Yeah. Integument is anything that basically covers and protects our body, and so our skin, our nails, our hair.
Regulate our body temperature.
Good. Yeah. Also regulate our body temperature. The skin is a really fascinating organ. The skin regulates our temperature. The skin protects our body, and the skin also involves parts of the immune system because it's designed to protect our body from toxins as well. So even though it seems, squishy and boring and not that cool, I think the skin is one of the coolest things we have. I think the skin is a very cool part of our body.
The most amazing thing.
Yeah. Cool. So the teeth are not part of that. And let's see. Next question. The pituitary gland, pineal gland, and thyroid gland are part of which system?
Endocrine
system.
Endocrine.
Good. Endocrine system.
Endocrine.
Glands are part of the endocrine system. So glands are those things we're talking about that secrete stuff. Something secretes stuff.
Endocrine or endocrine?
Endocrine.
But we have E
it's a short
according
I.
to the
according to the magic E rule, you should pronounce it endocrine.
Endocrine, yeah.
And I'm not sure why that is, but another example of something that's pronounced that way is adrenaline. You say adrenaline instead of adrenaline. I don't know why, because L-I-N-E is pronounced line.
Yes.
But I guess this is considered an exception to the magic E rule. Adrenaline, endocrine, exocrine, what else? Those are the ones I'm thinking of at the moment. But epinephrine is also the name of the hormone.
Not epinephrine.
Yeah, you say epinephrine instead of epinephrine.
Yes.
So again, I don't know, but when you think of hormones, think that they're pronounced a little bit differently.
No problem.
So endocrine is pronounced with the short I.
Pharmacokinetics also.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I never think about pronunciation myself, you know. But you're right. It's weird that it's pronounced that way.
Yes.
All right. So they're part of the endocrine system. Next question is contractile proteins, actin and myosin, are found in which type of tissue?
Muscle.
Actin and myosin.
Good. Muscle. Actin and myosin are types of proteins. Yeah, and they're used to help muscles contract.
By influx of calcium.
Good. Calcium is what helps the muscles contract. And so good. These proteins are found in muscle. What is another word for adipose tissue? Adipose tissue.
Fat tissue.
Good. Adipose means fat. So watch out. If someone refers to you as adipose, they're probably insulting you, so you should be mad at them. Adipose means fat. All right, so these proteins are found in muscle. Next question. The skeletons of sharks and human embryos are composed of which type of connective tissue?
Cartilage.
Cartilage. Sharks and human embryos are composed of... Yes.
Connective tissue is collagen.
All right, we have lots of different guesses here.
Collagen, of course.
So the answer is actually cartilage. The skeletons of sharks and human embryos are composed of cartilage. Cartilage, as someone mentioned, maybe it was Hadi, I don't remember. Someone mentioned during this class, cartilage helps connect, sometimes helps connect bones and connect bones and muscle. It's different from other connective tissue. Other connective tissues like collagen or the tissues in tendons and ligaments, those tissues are sort of like squishy, and cartilage is different because it's hard. But cartilage still counts as a connective tissue, and sharks are made of cartilage, as are human embryos. So as we talked about, cartilage is not the same thing as bone. It's a little bit different, and sharks are made of cartilage. Collagen is a connective tissue. It's a protein, and when I think of collagen, I think of getting those you can get collagen injections into your lips. Do you guys have this?
Collagen is responsible for the flexibility of the bones and the flexibility of due to the homocysteine inside the protein.
Okay, so bones that are flexible contain collagen.
Collagen, yes, and it's a part of connective tissue.
Cool.
Maybe.
Because when I think of collagen, I think of getting collagen injections into your lips. Sometimes if women get collagen injected, it makes their lips bigger. It's a type of like cosmetic procedure. I don't know if they do that procedure in your countries, but in the U.S. sometimes women get collagen injected into their lips. I think it's kind of gross, but that's just my opinion. Because it's considered attractive to have big lips. I don't know. Do you guys have that in your country? Collagen injections?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I assumed so, but I didn't know. And then the other one is Botox. You know, you can get Botox and get your skin all like pulled back like this.
Oh, very sexy.
So some people get Botox done as well. Okay, so next we'll move on to the next question. The next question says, which system helps to protect the body by destroying germs within the body?
Lymphatic.
The lymphatic system.
Yes.
Okay. The lymphatic system helps to protect the body by destroying germs. And how does the lymphatic system destroy germs?
By complement system between antibody and antigen. The foreign matter when they enter the body, it will formation of the antibody. Antibody will recognition of the antigen with a specific site. We have two sites of the antibody called light chain and heavy chain. It will recognize the light chain and will destroy it. It's very indeed information.
It's a really, really cool system, the way our body recognizes foreign stuff. But yeah, Ahmed's right. So foreign, germs, bad stuff, presents these things called antigens on the surfaces of their molecules. Our body has antibodies that recognize those antigens, and because of that, we can mark and destroy foreign and bad substances when they try to enter our body. So our immune system is also super cool, and a lot of that stuff travels around within the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system helps us destroy germs so that we don't get sick. And then these other organ systems we've already talked about, the skeletal system, the cardiovascular system, and the respiratory system. Those were on our diagram, so we know about those. Okay. So I think that's the last question we had, yes. So that's the end of our quiz for today. Let's just click the answer. Yay, lymphatic. Oh, never mind. No, we have another one. I thought that was the end. Good. Another question says, most of the nutrient absorption that takes place during digestion occurs where?
Small intestines.
All right, good. You guys listened during the digestive system lesson. Either that or you probably already knew it, which is also good. Most nutrient absorption takes place in the small intestine. A lot of people would answer
especially
this
in the
one.
jejunum.
Yes, a lot of people would answer this one, stomach. But in reality, what really happens in the stomach? What is the stomach responsible for? There's some nutrient absorption.
There is an absorption of vitamin B12 in the stomach. But when we look to the stomach it's have hydrochloric acid, which play an important role in what we call the protection and killing the germ. It's a part also in the immune system. Digestive system has also stomach has also pepsin, which also an important part to digest proteins. The first steps to digest protein.
Good. So the stomach starts by breaking stuff down. And even though some absorption happens in the stomach, mostly the stomach is responsible for breaking up and breaking down food. And it does that using acid and the enzyme pepsin. And as Ahmed said, the acid is also useful because it destroys bad stuff. So yeah, that's the responsibility of the stomach. And then the large intestine comes after the small intestine. And that's also, again, some nutrients are absorbed, but mostly it's just exchange of water. It's water absorption that happens in the large intestine.
The largest water absorption occur in the large intestine. In the largest intestine. Yes.
Good. Okay. The next part. Let's see. Let's find the next question. Next question says, parts of the urinary system remove liquid waste from the blood. Which system removes gaseous waste or carbon dioxide from the blood?
Respiratory. Respiratory system.
Good. Anyone else? Thoughts on this? Which system removes gaseous waste from the blood?
It's the only system available. The respiratory system, yeah.
Yeah. So good. I would say respiratory system. The urinary system gets rid of liquid waste, mostly urea. Urea is something that we don't like. And then the respiratory system removes carbon dioxide from the blood because it exchanges it for oxygen, like we talked about. We breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. All right, here's the last question we'll do for today. This system contains the largest organ in the body.
Integumentary system.
Digestive.
Digestive system.
No.
Integumentary,
the number Z.
Integumentary.
Integumentary.
All right, good.
Yes,
so
scan. Yes, scan.
I noticed some people saying digestive at the beginning, and I was confused for a minute too. But yeah, I would say integumentary system because that involves the skin, and the skin is a big organ. And so that is the largest organ in the body.
Aren't there organs that like kilometers? If they are rolled, but if you unroll, they are measure kilometers.
Yeah, the small intestine I think is really long. I can't remember how long, but in terms of surface area, the skin is the biggest, and also definitely the heaviest by weight. I would guess. I don't know. Good. So I'm very, as always, very impressed with all of your science knowledge. I hope that you all learned some vocabulary. We went on a lot of tangents and talked about a lot of topics today. So if you missed some stuff or if you were confused, don't worry. You can also always ask me questions on my Facebook page. I love being asked questions. I love participation. So please like the Facebook page at facebook.com/LibbyVerbling if you haven't yet. And you can communicate with me outside of class and ask me questions. And yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about a lot of different organ systems today. And any questions before we finish?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have simple questions.
No problem. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. In the previous class, you have talked about health system and health insurance. And this class, you have talked about body systems. I don't know. It seems you are interested in health, but I want to know your major, your bachelor degree.
Good question. My bachelor's degree was in human biology. I studied human biology for my bachelor's, and I hope to go to medical school in about a year and a half. I would like to go to medical school because I would like to be a doctor someday. So.
Yes, I hope for you all the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, cool. So yeah, any other questions, feel free to contact me on Facebook. And thank you all for a really great class. And I hope to see you all again soon. I have 2 classes tomorrow around this time. And then I have not scheduled my classes for the next couple weeks, but those should be up sometime today. So check back on Verbling, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
all.
Okay, see you soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.